IVM.
Do you remember that feeling of being criticized? What did you do in the moment? Do you think you dealt with it well? The more important question here is, would you like to learn how emotionally intelligent people handle criticism? Welcome to Absolutely Right, a podcast where we celebrate and decode minds of some outstanding achievers and simplify their secrets and hacks for you to implement in your life. I'm your host, Aditi Surana. I'm a graphologist and a high performance coach. In today's short Friday episode, let's talk about why is criticism so tough to handle? What do you do that makes the matter worse? And 7 things you can do to deal with it in an emotionally intelligent manner. If you're new here, let me fill you in. Absolutely Right Friday episodes are designed to create an actionable change. With every Friday episode, we create a worksheet, or as we call it, Friday Fun Sheet, for you to commit to growth and take actions. This is a PDF document that you can download from my website, aditisurana.com/podcast. Before we talk about dealing with criticism, let me give you Aristotle's quick hack to avoid it. He said, criticism is something you can easily avoid by saying nothing, doing nothing, and being nothing. You bet, the only way you will never be criticized is by doing literally nothing. Have you met people who have spent a lifetime in proving that one person wrong who criticized them 10 years ago? Or have you seen people repeating and reliving those critical criticism moments over and over again? Most of us are willing to hear feedback, but we tend to shut down in the face of criticism. Do you know why? Feedback is about something that has gone wrong, but criticism comes with personal remarks and judgments. The person criticizing you makes you feel horrible about yourself. When we are criticized, our natural instinct is to protect ourselves from this unbearable pain inflicted in the moment. It hurts our delicate egos and activates our defense mechanisms. The immediate reaction that most people jump to is, this criticizer wants to hurt me or harm me. They start gathering their ammunition to fight back. But wait, before jumping to any conclusion, take a moment to breathe. I know you're feeling jolted by this harsh, demeaning, insulting experience, but do not act in the moment. Go for a walk, breathe deeper, or practice Kama Sutra graphotherapy. Do whatever it takes. And when you're calmer, ask yourself, is this really true? Is this person genuinely trying to hurt me or harm me? If not, there might be 3 other possibilities here. The first one, the criticizer means well but has a horrible way of communicating. Indian moms are famous for doing this. When they get worried and concerned about their children, they start criticizing. खुद के कपड़े जमाने तो आते नहीं अलमारी में, बिजनेस शुरू करने चले हैं. The criticizer number 2, who is upset and uses criticism as the way to express their frustration. Sexually frustrated couples start finding faults in each other's behavior. They become highly critical of one another. Harsh criticism erupts as the pain and frustration pushes them over the cliff. Point number 3, the criticizer loves to criticize. Yeah, there are people who love to do that. It is their habit, it is their way of living. It has nothing to do with you. Do you remember the movie Piku? Amitabh Bachchan, who played the role of a critical old man, was critical about anything and everything. You might not believe it, but I know some people who love to criticize and catch people off guard. They find it amusing. Avoiding, overthinking about it, or seeking revenge cannot be the only ways in which we look at criticism. These might be the most popular ways, but not the efficient ones. So let me present 7 ways to look at criticism in a different light. Point number 1, know your triggers. I know I have been speaking about this trigger, reaction, response over and over again in the last 9 months, but it is crucial. I think most people are oblivious to their own triggers. Many times you feel criticized way before the other person offends you. You feel that way because you're triggered on something else. Now, when you're triggered, you're already unwilling, offended, annoyed, and in a fix. Pay attention to your own triggers. Point number 2, ground yourself. Your reactions first occur in the body. You feel tense, off guard, unable to listen or take any new information. Will you pick up a heavy bag with your broken arm? No, right? Similarly, do not try to make sense of things when you're not calm. As mentioned before, go for a walk, breathe deeper, try graphotherapy, find some or the other way to calm your mind as well as your body. Point number 3, do not take it personally. I know, easier said than done, but imagine as a game, if you step away from the situation and look at the situation objectively. Now, when you place someone else in your shoes, you can start looking at the gaps in your behavior and in your understanding. Ask yourself, what will I do differently now? Point number 4, I know it hurts, but is it really true? They say if it stings, then there is some degree of truth in it. If you keep your emotions aside and look at what is underneath this critical remark, you will be able to learn a lot. Is there anything constructive about this comment? I have had many critical teachers who got genuinely upset when they felt that we were not giving our best shot. They felt angry and they criticized because they wanted us to do better. Do you remember Amir Khan from the movie Dangal? His criticism was instrumental in helping his daughters move forward. Point number 5, do not dismiss or minimize the issue. Mostly, while receiving criticism, people think, why is this person making a big deal of this issue? It's not even that big. Why are you overreacting? Maybe they are, maybe they are not. Maybe this issue is big, maybe it is not. But it is an essential, significant issue for the person who's upset in the moment. They are really trying to communicate that to you. And it might be important for other people too that you don't realize. So remember, if you are genuinely striving for excellence, the small stuff matters. Point number 6, apologize for your part. The ability to apologize shows that you are capable of taking responsibility. You may go wrong, but when you say that, okay, I understand I have made a mistake and I'm willing to fix it, it shifts the focus from combat to the mode of collaboration. Point number 7, set new ground rules. You need to tell the critical person how you see things differently. It won't help your relationship if you get into the pattern of being an overly accommodating, peace at any price type of a person. Communicate with them and tell them clearly how you would like to be treated. Tell them things like, next time in such a situation, you can tell me in advance, or behave like this or like that. Remember that even the most difficult thing can be communicated in a kind manner. Now the bonus point number 8. Make sure that you demonstrate an alternate behavior. If you really want the person to treat you in a different manner, next time when they make mistakes or go wrong or react in a manner that they shouldn't, you choose another approach. When you demonstrate a different behavior, the communication is way stronger. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Absolutely Right. Please review, comment, and if you know somebody who is very critical or cannot deal with criticism, then share this episode with that person. Also send your questions to me on my Instagram handle at Aditi Surana. I'm all open to receive your feedback and criticism. Now, before I go, I must tell you this. Each month, I teach handwriting analysis or graphology to a few handpicked students in my graphology masterclass. The next batch is starting on 7th of November. At the end of this course, each student understands and accepts themselves in a different light altogether. So if you're keen to know more about graphology or wish to learn one more skill in this lockdown, then visit my website aditisurana.com. If you like this podcast, then don't forget to check out other interesting podcasts on the IVM network. You can listen to us on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com. You can also follow us on our social media. We are at IVM Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. Let's connect on Wednesday. Till then, happy writing!
I hope you enjoyed that show. If you aren't following us on social media, please do. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. It's been a really, really great week on the network. Let me make a couple of recommendations to you guys. Agla Station Adulthood, they have an extraordinary episode on relationships. Ritasha and Ayushi, as always, do a bang-up job. I think you'll really enjoy that conversation. Check out Edges and Sledges, where DJ Ashwin and Varun have been talking to fans from different IPL teams on every episode. It's a really, really interesting project they've taken on during the course of the IPL. And as it comes to a conclusion, I'm sure you'll love to hear the thoughts on the tournament as a whole. I want to mention Uncle Please Sit. They had a really great episode which dove into why is pollution so bad. And I think that given the circumstances we're dealing with right now, it makes a ton of sense to listen to that. Cyrus had a really great week on his show as well. On the Monday episode, he spoke to Raj and DK about all kinds of stuff. He was in one of their early movies. Definitely a fun conversation. Do check that out. And finally, let me talk to you about the Wire Talks with Siddharth Bhatia. We're very excited about this show. On the first episode, Jairam Ramesh is there having conversation with Siddharth Bhatia about the legacy of Indira Gandhi. I think you will really get something out of this. Do give it a listen. And with that, I hope to see you again next week.
पेश खिदमत है आपकी शान में हमारे अंजुमन से. Hi, I am Sadaf.
And I'm Arshit. खाने का इतिहास, economics, policy, psychology, सब है मेन्यू पे.
Only on the Nankali podcast every Wednesday. सिर्फ IVM podcast ऐप या वेबसाइट पर या फिर जहां से भी आप अपने पॉडकास्ट सुनते हो.